to all of you for the second session of this Gita Forum. I hope you all had a hearty lunch after an inspiring talk and expecting a more inspiring talk in the afternoon too. First of all, thank you all for donations that you have given, and you have done your part for the benefit of the mankind. The beauty of Hinduism lies in its adaptive capabilities to prevailing times, but without losing the stronghold of divinity. And Bhagavad Gita is no different. In fact, it is an apt example of it. To emphasize the relevance of Gita in the modern world, we have with us the very dynamic and powerful speaker, Swami Mitrananda, who will be the speaker for the second session of today's forum. May I request Professor A.N. Rao to kindly chair the second session. Please. A well-known personality among the Singapore residents from various fields. It's like showing the light to a light, but I will still introduce him to keep in tune with the protocol. Professor A.N. Rao had his education in the field of botany from Bangalore, India, UK and the USA. He was working in NUS Singapore from 1960 to 1997 and retired as HOD of Botany Department. He held various other positions during his career at NUS, among them Chairman, School of Biology, Vice Dean and Dean of Faculty of Science. He is presently working for International Plant Genetic Research Institute, IPGRI, which is a part of FAO under United Nations, and consultant for Malaysian Herbal Corporation. He is a consultant to various UN bodies like UNDP, UNESCO, World Bank, Asian Bank, Development Bank, to name a few. This was only the professional side of him. His personal achievements include publishing more than 180 research papers, writing and or editing 14 books. His public service includes founding member and past president of Hindu Center, vice president of Satya Sai Society, trustee of Singapore Indian Fine Arts Society, advisor to Hindu Endowment Board. I, as a Kannadiga, is proud to announce that Professor A.N. Rao was the founder and the first president of Kannada Sangha Singapore. To be on the same platform as him is an honor to me. Sir, could I request you to kindly open the second session of today's forum?
Namaste to all of you. By any standard, the lunch was very sumptuous. And nobody will be forgiven you if you slightly doze off after that heavy lunch. But we have a very dynamic speaker with us, whom I would like to welcome on behalf of all of you to come and take the stage. Swami Mitrananda belongs to Chinmaya mission, with whom most of us are very familiar. When I invite him to this platform, my thoughts go back to 30 years ago, when I had the same opportunity of requesting Swami Chinmaya to give the discourses here 3 times. At that time, the president of Singapore, S.R. Nathan, was also the chairman of the Hindu Endowment Board. We didn't have an air-conditioned room like this. All the windows used to be open and we had only the folding chairs. The secretary at that time was Mr. K.S. Radha. So, in a modest way, we have come up all the way to assemble here in a fine air-conditioned hall with so many of you coming here, even though it is Sunday afternoon. That is so far as the context is concerned. Now, my next present duty is to say a few words about Swamiji. Swami Mitrananda is the head of Chinmaya mission, Chennai. He is no stranger to Singapore, as he has been here for several times and has given lectures on different topics. When we were organizing this forum, at the committee level, we were wondering how to choose the speakers and how to identify the speakers also. Then, some of us, including Mr. Patel, myself and all, we devised only two methods. We should request the speakers to give us two topics so that we can choose and there is no overlap whatsoever. But it so happened that we were fortunate enough to get one Swamiji to start the series and another Swamiji to end the series. Both these, I consider, is our own blessing. And that is a wonderful thing. You all have read this brief note about Swamiji. One thing that amazed me was 280,000 young people in India. They are influenced by his quiz talk or quiz discussion on Bhagavad Gita. That is not a small measure by any method. 280,000 students. That's almost more than half of Singapore, if you realize it. And that kind of service, only an yati or a sannyasi on the Chinmaya mission can do. And we really greatly admire that kind of service for the society. Without going further, now I request Swami Mitrananda to give the lecture. The topic, as you know, is the relevance of Bhagavad Gita in the modern life. Swami Mitrananda.
My salutations to Mr. Rao and to everybody present here. Pranam, good afternoon. Relevance of Gita in the modern life, in the modern world. There are certain things which are everlasting, cannot perish. That means they are facts which would exist always. Spiritual science is one such thing, which would continue always. Can I have it a little more quiet? Thank you. Spiritual science is one such thing. I'm reminded of an incident. Some scientists were excavating a few pyramids, and when they were doing their work, they found a handful of grains, probably 5,000 years old, in the pyramid. And they were a little curious, saying, what will happen if we sow these grains? Will still a crop come? Is it still alive? And they planted it and it turned out, it came up. Something which is 5,000 years old, preserved in a pyramid, as gross as grains, can come in, and it was still alive and vital. Imagine the knowledge which the highest masters have given. They have not given it for at that point of time. They have given it for mankind for all times to come. And this is one of the most striking aspects of Hindu culture. In Hindu culture, A thought is not accepted because someone has given. It's the rest of the thinkers, the rishis, etc. all have to accept. However great a person could be, however powerful the person could be, his comments or his paper or his philosophy is to be tested by others. That's how Hindu culture, if you find, it is collective thinkers, written by collective people, collective thought. It's not an individual. And in Hindu culture there are two types. One is called Shruti, another is called Smriti. Shruti are the eternal facts. They have stood the time and they will continue. Because they are facts. Like the heat of fire. It's a fact. Energy of the sun is a fact. Like not Vedanta or spiritual science is a fact. That is called Shruti. Then there is something called Smriti, which keeps changing. Time to time we change. Different methods we adopt according to the time. We see it, if it is useful, we take it. If it is not useful, we drop it for the time being. We take up something else. You can alter. The rules and regulations of life can be altered time to time. Smriti is generally the rules which we have to follow for our benefits. Shruti has stood time. That's why Gita is relevant even today. Let us see how is it relevant even today. Because it's a fact, it's part of the Shruti. The gist of the Upanishad is Gita. Upanishads are Shruti, which is heard. Not thought by a person in the quiet mind, it is Gita. Gist of the Upanishads, you have Bhagavad Gita. And the Lord Himself has given this to Arjuna. And brilliantly, poetically compiled by Vyasa. Arjuna was very confident before the war would start. And with all confidence he tells to Krishna, Krishna, take my chariot. Please take it. Little closer to the enemy so that I can see them present clearly. Imagine the confidence of the person. Looking forward, he says, take it forward. Take the chariot forward. Take it over Take it over. Both the armies are here. Take the chariot over. Only a confident person can say that. Quite confident at that point of time. He takes, so Krishna takes the chariot. And one of the best relationships we can ever experience is the teacher and the student. The teacher knew exactly what is the student's strength, what is student's weakness. Student may not know. Because the teacher has walked through the path, the teacher knew. So the teacher and Krishna saw Arjuna. He is confident. Let me see if he is still confident. And he takes the chariot to a place where he places the chariot in front of Jayadratha, brother-in-law of Duryodhana. Bhishma, Arjuna's own grandfather. Drona, Arjuna's guru. And in some corner there was Ashwatthama. And Karna, but Karna was not there in the battlefield at that time because Bhishma did not allow him. Now why these 5 names? Bhishma, Drona, Jayadratha, Karna, Ashwatthama, etc. In the 11th chapter, if you see, when Krishna shows the cosmic form, Arjuna says, I see Jayadratha, Bhishma, Drona, Karna getting killed in you. These 4 names. Jayadratha had a boon. His father has blessed him. Whoever shoots him, the person who is responsible for the head to be severed and from whose hands the head falls down, or who cuts his head off, that person's head will go first. So the shooter of Jayadratha would be dead before Jayadratha is dead. Now that's a boon. Arjuna is aware of that. How do you handle such a situation? Complete sacrifice is necessary, isn't it? Someone ready, and he's not an ordinary warrior. He's got enough defense in himself. Well-equipped man, powerful, plus this boon. So who's going to take that initiative? You shoot Jayadratha, you should be willing to die. So Arjuna must be wondering, who will come forward to do it? If I do, what will happen to the rest of the war? I'm there. And if I do this, what will happen to the rest of the war? So can I ask Nakula or Sahadev or Yudhishthira or Bhima or someone to do it? Then I lose them straight away because you hit him, you're dead. Lot of stress, tension, almost an impossible situation. Then he looks at Bhishma. Krishna has placed the chariot there. Then he looks at Bhishma. Bhishma is coming to the war with a boon where he can die at his will. When he decides to drop his body, he will go. Nobody can kill him. You can't take his life. So what is happening in a war? You have to face someone. In the first place, Bhishma is very dear to Arjuna. It's a pure love relationship. Bhishma's favorite grandchild was Arjuna. And Arjuna spent all his time, whenever possible, with Bhishma. He simply loves him. And Bhishma is a warrior with that boon. Now, until he willingly gives up, you can't shoot him. And he's there in the enemy ranks. How do you deal with that? What kind of a situation is that? That you no point until the other person, in Jayadratha's case, extreme sacrifice is necessary. In Bhishma's case, Bhishma should give it up. Enemy ranks. So you're not ordinary people. Then there is Drona, man of extreme knowledge on warfare, skilled archer, powerful teacher, and Arjuna simply loves him, and man with lots of secret weapons. Arjuna is conscious that Drona has got a lot of secret weapons, which Arjuna is not aware of how to deal with it. And someone who has taught you, and you know that person's depth. So he looks at him and saying, here is another person, which is almost difficult. How do I deal with this person? And then back of his mind should be Karna. Karna, he's got a kavach, an armor around his body. Nothing can penetrate it. So Arjuna knew his armory cannot do that. Now just take these four. And Ashwatthama cannot die. You can make him weak, but you cannot die. That may not be a botheration much to him. But these four are not easy. So it's not ordinary people standing there, almost impossible to deal with, and that's the situation. Krishna takes the chariot and places in front. And saying, watch. Hey Arjuna, watch. Who is there? You watch now. And Arjuna saw all these people. Naturally, till then the man was confident. With full confidence, he goes there, he assesses the situation and totally breaks down. Is this not something which we experience nowadays also? In your business contact, in the business world, you go there, the situation is there, you look at it, and then there are people, knowledgeable people, absolutely collapsing without any confidence. Confidence can be shattered anytime if it is not well guarded. And that's what happened to Arjuna. Confident man shattered himself. Went there, saw, and no one did anything. He just saw them there. Looking at the situation, he shattered. Why? The expectation on him was very, very high. In fact, that morning, before the war, Yudhishthira talks to Arjuna saying, hey Arjuna, you're the only hope. You're confident we'll go into it. Because I'm very sure others can't do much. It's only you who can do it. So the expectation from the entire Pandavas is very, very high on Arjuna. So naturally you have to live up to the expectation. That itself is tremendous pressure. Many people come across that kind of pressure, living up to the expectation. And the challenge is not easy. And there are emotions involved in it. People whom you adore, you have to shoot. It's not easy. Punish someone whom you love. Ordinary punishment you try. Deny food for 2 days to the person whom you love. Let us see. Is it possible? 2 days, no food and water. To someone whom you love. Whom you hate, 1 week is okay. Someone whom you love, 2 days. Try. Not possible, isn't it? Very difficult to punish someone whom you love. And here you have to shoot, kill. But the other person who loves you is ready there, standing. And you are standing there to fight against someone whom you love, you have to kill. Not easy. Imagine the emotions, the turmoil which would have gone through his mind. Emotional turmoil. Is it new in today's age? In today's life? That's one of the biggest things, isn't it? Emotional healing is what people look forward. Absolute turmoil of emotions. Intellect, not confident because the other people are powerful. Bhishma is powerful, he will die on his will. Jayadratha, you have to kill, you have to make extreme sacrifice. Intellect, gone, shattered. Emotional turmoil. Naturally, when the intellect and the mind are disturbed, there is no strength in the body. The body becomes weak. The weakness of the body comes because the mind was disturbed. In today's world, this is not new. Anything related, people have woken up saying it's something to do with the mind. Work on the mind, the body is better. So naturally, the intellect shattered, emotions in turmoil. Arjuna could not even hold the bow. Can you imagine? Number 1 seated, number 1 in rank, archer, standing there not able to hold the bow, shivering. How many times he must have done that? In darkness he can shoot. He can hear a sound and hit the target. He learnt it, expert, but standing there, not able to hold and shivering. Psychologically completely collapsed. But before he told Krishna, probably Arjuna sensed something coming up. And he calls Krishna saying, "Hey Krishna, take this chariot to the middle of the battlefield." And he addresses him beautifully. He says, "Achyuta. Hey Achyuta, hey Krishna, take the chariot to the middle of the battlefield." Achyuta means one who has not fallen, one who has not slipped. Look at the beauty and the compilation of Vyasa, if you see. How beautifully he calls him. He says, Arjuna addressed Krishna, "Hey Achyuta," one who never slipped. Slipped from what? From intellectual clarity. Never slipped from emotional stability. Always stood there with that clear vision. Never he slipped from clarity to confusion. We rise now and then from confusion to clarity. Now and then. He stayed in clarity always, Krishna. "Hey Achyuta, take the chariot to the middle of the field." Seeing, because Krishna must have been there. Looking at him, one would have felt, though he was only a driver, must have been very calm, absolutely composed, full of confidence, absolutely like a master in that situation. Arjuna looks at him and says, "Hey Achyuta, take the chariot." Krishna takes the chariot. As I told you, the Guru knows exactly what is the strength and the weakness of the student. Places it there, sits and watches, saying, "Let me see how Arjuna responds." Arjuna was nowhere near Achyuta. Though they were physically there, Arjuna was Chuta, completely fallen. Looked, challenge was there, he slipped down. My teacher, Gurudev Swami Chinmaya used to say, before facing the challenge, people are wise. After facing the challenge, people are wise. While facing the challenge, they are otherwise. Modern situation, you understand how Gita is relevant? Before, wise. Very clear. If someone has a problem, your advice will be perfect. The same problem comes to you. What happened to that advice? At that point, no. When it is over, I know what I should have done. Before I know what I should have done, when it is all over, I know what I should have done. When I have to actually face it, I get confused. This is one of those weaknesses of the mind. And this is not new, age old. Arjuna had this, we have this today. The knowledge is applicable even today. And it's a complete knowledge. Now that's where Gita has to be understood. Krishna could have easily told Arjuna, saying, Arjuna, these 4 people whom you are worried, I have killed them. Take it from me. I have killed them. They're finished. You will win this war. Move. One word from Krishna is enough. Karna, Bhishma, Drona, Jayadratha, I'll take care. You simply don't worry, you go. That much is enough. But Krishna did not say that. Now that's the beauty of the teaching. If he has said that, that would have been a very temporary solution to Arjuna. At that point, Arjuna would have felt, good. Krishna is there. I'll go into the war. Over. Again, he may come across another situation where he would be facing the same challenge. Similar challenge. Again, confidence could go. So what Krishna gave Arjuna was a complete knowledge. Not solutions, temporarily. Complete knowledge, so that such a thing never occurs again. This is the best approach to a problem. Empower the person with that kind of strength and clarity so that the problems don't arise again. And this is what Krishna did to Arjuna. He gave him the knowledge, made him clear. Never again Arjuna would be in such a situation. If he gets into that kind of a situation, quickly he can recover because he's got solutions within. So the entire Gita, if you see, is addressed to a person living in ignorance, confused, confidence shattered. He had the potential, he had the talent, he had the ability, all went into dormant. It could not come up. That's what happens to us. All of us are born with potential. It's lying dormant, isn't it? Has God created us without potential? We are manifested in this world without potential. Every one of us. That's one of the biggest sins. Probably we can call it the original sin. Not rising up to one's potential. The potential is given, but we never make use of it. How sad. The potential is there. Everyone has the potential, but we don't even tap it. Ask yourself a question, then we will see how relevant Gita is. You have been living your life till now. Did you live to your full potential? Whatever you have achieved, is that all you can? Or you have something more in you which you could have tapped well to do better? It's your life. Have you justified the potential given to you? The potential what we have we made use of it fully? Whatever we have achieved, this is all we have achieved? Is this our optimum capacity? Or do we have more? Most people have not even tapped the potential. It's there, unused. Same situation. Or potential is there in Arjuna, confidence shattered, potential could not come out. Confused intellect, potential could not come out. You need clarity. And that's exactly what Krishna gave. And Arjuna was conscious that he was a warrior, so naturally there is the false pride which comes in between. A warrior cannot say, I'm scared of war. A warrior cannot go there and say, I'm scared. Now I know I can't do much here. I'm disturbed. He started giving different reasons, different excuses, tried, justifying himself, covering it up, camouflage it with various things. Why war? What is the outcome of it? People will die. I'm not sure which is better. Kaurava's ruling is better or we ruling is better. I'm not sure. Imagine the confusion. There are dictators, tyrannical rule, no values whatsoever. Continuously some conspiracy or other to destroy. Ill-treated his own wife, Draupadi. That kind of mind, do you think that kind of a mind should have the power? Power must be always with the noble, not with the unintelligent. The power should be with the ones who have values. Those who don't have values, if their power is going to be with them, it would be dangerous. Now Arjuna is asking this question, which is better? Kaurava's ruling, is that better? Or we ruling, which is better? I am not sure. Imagine the levels of confusion, hysteria which he has got into. And the first chapter of Gita is very interesting. The first chapter is called Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Dejection. Chapter is called A Man Living in Depression, Dejection, Vishada. Despondent person. The case study of despondency is the first chapter. Even today we find people becoming. Not always, now and then we see the signs of despondency. And to him the education begins. The entire second chapter of the Gita, if you see, and in today's age, people who are extremely busy, can't find time. I'm not talking about people here. You have made it to be here, to be part of the seminar of Gita. I'm sure you would come across people who say there's no time. There's no time. For them, if they say there's no time, whole Gita I can't read, 18 chapters, 700 plus verse, I can't read it. Then ask them to read only second chapter. In second chapter, every topic which is there in the entire book is covered in capsules. The theme, what is discussed in the second chapter, is elaborated in following chapters. So the second chapter of the Gita, which is called Sankhya Yoga, because it's very logically presented, rationally, is sufficient for mankind. Arjuna got shattered, disturbed, and from there Arjuna speaks, gives various lines of explanations, trying to get out of the situation, escape, not face it. And then when he's out, exhausted with everything, he sits quietly. Krishna smiles at him and says, Arjuna, you spoke like a wise man. It's a powerful line. He said, Arjuna, you spoke like a wise man, but you must know, Arjuna, wise men have no worry. That's the hallmark of wisdom. Asocyan anvasochastham, prajnavadanscha bhashase, gatasuna gatasonscha, nanasochanti panditaha. 2nd chapter, 11th verse, where he says, "Hey, Arjuna, you spoke like a wise man. But you must understand, wise men, your words were of that of a wise man. But you must understand, Arjuna, wise men have no worries." People who have lived Gita way of life, who have understood and who have lived Gita way of life would say that. I remember one occasion, my Gurudev Swami Chinmaya gave some work to someone and was saying, "Please get it done." And the evening he met him and he asked him, "Did you finish that work I gave you?" Just checking up if it was done. The other person, out of habit, sheer habit, how he speaks to everyone else in the same tone, he said, "Don't worry, Swamiji, it will be done." Sheer habit force, "Don't worry, Swamiji, it will be done." That very movement, you see the alert mind of Gurudev, he called him, "Come here. Come here, come here. I seriously have a question. Tell me, have you ever seen me worried?" Please think. How many of us can ever say that? You ask someone, by mistake you ask this, "Have you ever seen me worried?" What would be their reply? Huh? What else have you been? But here is a master asking that question. Called him immediately, casually he said, "So don't worry, Swamiji, it will be done." Come. A serious question this is. Have you ever seen me worried? With authority, isn't it? Complete clarity, hallmark of wise men. I have associated myself with Gurudev Swami Chinmaya from my childhood. I have not seen him worried. No question of worry. He may come out very forceful to get things done, but the man was never worried. Absolutely. Never worried. Never we have seen him worried. You see the wisdom. Krishna tells Arjuna, the sign of a wise man has no worries. That means if worry is there, wisdom is absent. You understand? 90%, 99% of the world have some worry or other. If nothing is there, they are so confused. They say, "Swamiji, I am scared everything is going well. Something will happen." Everything is going well and you are scared of things going well. Now, how sad. Things go for 6s and 7s, fine. When everything is going well also you are worried. Half the world is worried because they have not got what they want. Other half of the world is worried because they got what they want. That's the truth. Isn't it? Rarely we come across people who say, "There's no worry." We can raise up to that. You understand, earlier I said, we have the potential. We can raise up to that level. Rest of our life, if we can apply Gita, rest of our life at least we can, it's worth attempting to learn that. So the rest of the life we can manage at least to keep minimum worries, if not nil. It's possible. That potential is there to live here with that kind of a clarity and wisdom where we are never worried. One of the greatest exponents on Bhagavad Gita is Adi Shankara. If you read Shankara's commentary, Shankara did not write commentary on the first chapter of the Gita. He did not write commentary verse by verse. Even in the second chapter, 10 verses. He never touched them. Just gave a summary. Just starts only from the 11th verse. Asocana no sochastam. Saying wise one has no worries. He didn't even discuss Arjuna's case. He said leave it. But the sign of wisdom, that's where Shankara starts. Because that's most important. You and I have the potential to stay that way absolutely without any worry. It is possible if we have wisdom. That which is most important, we don't look into. Other areas we look into. In the 7th chapter of the Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna, hey Arjuna, knowing which you don't have to know anything else. Can there be a more higher statement? Knowing this, there is nothing else to be known. You know this, Arjuna, you know what you are. You know yourself, there is nothing else to be known. That important it is. People don't spend time. The confusion or lack of clarity is such that what is essential, we don't learn. We waste time on that which is not essential. So those people who live with worry understand the relevance of Gita is it will get you out of worry once for all. If wisdom is applied, there is no worry. Is that not worth living? Is that not justifying the very manifestation that you and I have manifested to be like this? It's very relevant. Moving further in the same chapter, Krishna looks at Arjuna and tells him, hey Arjuna, please understand, there are certain facts in life, you must know them. Nothing else to be done. Just understand certain facts. What are these facts? He says, when your mind contacts through the sense organs the world outside, the reaction in the mind would be joy and sorrow. But these reactions which happen in the mind as joy and sorrows have a beginning and an end. It can't last forever. The verse is Matra Sparshastha Kaunteya Sitoshna Sukha Dukkada Agama Payino Anityaha Tan Titikshasva Bharata. Hey Arjuna, whenever you contact the world outside through your sense organs, when the mind contacts the world outside, through eyes, ears, nose, taste, touch, the reaction of that would be joy or sorrow in the mind. It's a fact, isn't it? Whenever our mind runs into the world through the 5 sense organs, make a contact in the world outside, immediate reaction in the mind is going to be joy or sorrow. You can't avoid it. Nothing can be done about it because that's the fact. But you should wake up to the truth that these joy and sorrow, the experience which comes to the mind when it makes the contact, has a beginning, has an end. It can't last forever. Please think. The statement of fact and how relevant it is. After worries will not be there if you understand it. You have no choice in this issue, hey Arjuna, because that's a universal law. It has been created that way, that every experience has to have a beginning and an end. Then you don't have a choice. What should you do? Tan titikshasva bharata. Develop to endure it. Forbearance. There's no other choice. Learn that. Krishna tells Arjuna, endure it. Tan titikshasva bharata. Now look into this verse. That is to say, every experience we come across will change. It will not be the same. Nothing stays the same. We are living in a platform. We are living in this world where nothing stays the same. It's a fact. Do we wake up to this fact? When something changes, first we question, why did this change? The fact is that it can't stay the same. Nothing remains the same. Just run through your day, morning till evening, let us say. Morning when you got up, what was the mood? Another day, another morning. Oh. By breakfast, what is the mood? Oh, lovely breakfast. Ha. Or other way around. Lovely morning, horrible breakfast. Possible. Isn't it? Think. Morning you get up, there's joy, and by breakfast time the joy is gone. And then someone comes and tells you, oh, you look very good today. Ah, very happy. Oh, this dress is very, very nice on you. Oh, very nice. By lunchtime someone really gives an insult. All that joy is gone. How's the day? A joy here, gone, then the sorrow comes, sorrow gone, again something happens, joy comes, we move, shuttling between these two. Sukha and dukkha. But they have a beginning, they have an end. The truth is that no experience would stay forever. It will change. That much if we understand there is peace. Then when the change is taking place, the wisdom would say, let it go. If there is no wisdom, we want to hold it back. Sorrow comes. Because we are living in a world where everything is changing. And when the change happens, we don't want to let it go. We want it to be the same. Particularly the things we love. The things which we like. Which gives us more kind of an assumed happiness. We want it to stay. We don't want it to go. We don't want it to let it go. It goes. It will change. The wise man understands, it will change. Let it go. Because it is created that way, not to last forever. In some villages, they have this entry. They write, even this will pass away. Entry. You enter into the village, that's the first message. Even this will pass away. It's a truth. It's an Arabic statement. Even this will pass away. Is that not true? Everything has a beginning, everything has an end. It means no matter what you experience, however dear it is to you, it has to go. The body is changing. It's not the same. Thoughts are changing. Never the same. Convinced opinions are changing. After some time, it's not the same. I was convinced about it some time ago. Now I've changed my mind. Opinions change. Your opinion on people are changing. People's opinion on you are changing. The world in which we were born and the world in which we live is completely changed. Change has to be accepted. Wisdom is that. Oh, any experience has a beginning, it has an end, it will come and go. Accept it. A wise man would accept it, would let it go. He would not insist. Even if you don't want to let it go, it will go. But in the mind you are trying to hold back. In the mind there is repentance. In the mind there is sorrow. Wisdom is let it go off. It's not the same. That day and today, you see the relevance of Gita? We are living in a world where everything is changing. It can't be the same. We should learn the art to allow it to go in the mind. It helps Arjuna. Learn that. If this much wisdom is there, life is so easy. Immediate peace. Saying this is a fact, I must accept this fact and let things go. They come, they're here, let it go. They can't stay forever. Matra sparshasta kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkata agama bhayino anityaha tantitikshasva bharata. First he explained, wise man has no worry for the living as well as the dead. That's the stanza, asocha anosochasva. He never worries over the living nor the ones who are gone. Why? This is the end. Everything will go, you only have to let it go. So we wake up to a truth saying, I live in a place where it's going to change, let me accept the change. If this much is accepted, with this wisdom, plunge into life, how would you approach life? With this wisdom, when it gets into life, how would we operate in life? We will never give room for anxiety. There won't be any anxiety. Rather, we will be more steady in what we do. Because we know there's no point. It's worrying is just waste of time. And it only stops me doing better. If that is understood, then we get into life, do what we want without anxiety. Otherwise, so much of anxiety. Is not anxiety a problem for today's world? Little things and so much of anxiety. And what does anxiety do to you? Drain you off. Drain the potential further. Drain the talent further. A mind living with full of anxiety, the entire mental energy and efficiency is drained out. Now what can you expect from a mind where the energy and the efficiency is drained out? Mediocre performance. Is that one's potential? No. The potential is much more. But then we live life with anxiety. Krishna says, forget it. Don't waste time with these anxieties. Focus on what you do. All the time. Powerful words. Karmane vadikaraste ma phaleshu karachan. Hey Arjun, just go out and do what you can and do your best. When your mind is free from anxiety, you give your best. I'm extremely happy in talking about Gita because there are lots of movies which has come out taking up these verses. Maybe they don't mention it, they don't acknowledge it, but this is the value. Recently I saw a brilliant movie called Peaceful Warrior. Is there anyone who has seen it here? One. I recommend two. I recommend you watch this movie. Peaceful Warrior. Warrior Arjuna. And what was Krishna trying to tell us? Arjuna, be peaceful, go into the war. And the whole thing is that. Where they bring in, it's a brilliant idea, the same thought which I was talking to you, Karmane vadikaraste, was brilliantly brought out on the real life incident of one of the Olympic gymnastics champion, Jan Millman. It's about his life, how he was coached. For example, in a sport like gymnastics, where you have to bring in perfection in what you do. In other sports, even a shabby performance can get you to victory. Isn't it? It need not be perfect. The opponent can make a mistake. It could be a weak, some mistake from the opponent and you take advantage of it. Or even something done shabbily can get to the goal. In gymnastics, it's not so. In gymnastics, you have to bring out perfection. There's no other way. There's no opponent threatening you there. You have to go there and do your best. That's it. There's no other way. You just go and give your best. And without anyone threatening, you have to give your best. In other side, you have to encounter the other talent. It's not easy in other sports. There's an opponent and you have to encounter his talent, you have to outsmart him, you have to outwit him, you have to understand. It needs. In gymnastics, there's nobody. You simply like something like golf. You go and do it for yourself. And just go there and give your best. This is the idea. So there the entire message is that, why do you think of the gold? which you want to win, do what you're doing. Karmanevadikaraste. Like a gymnast going into the field and he has to give his best, similarly we can also do whatever we want to do, give your best. That's what Krishna says. Your right is over the action and perform that action as brilliant as you can. Whatever be the outcome of it, leave it. Surrender it to the Lord. Let the Lord, let Him decide the outcome of it. You decide how well you can do it. Imagine this is the philosophy we adopt in life, based on the earlier two stanzas we discussed. The hallmark of a wise man is not to worry. Why? He knows everything will change. And then he goes into the world saying, okay, I have the potential, everything will change. In this potential, what I can do, I'll do my best. No anxiety. Without anxiety, when we start doing, the best in us also comes out much better. The energy is not drained, the efficiency is not drained. And doing things to the best is yoga. Yoga Karma Sukhaushalam. Second chapter again. Just that in that action, what you're doing, focus your mind fully. How focused are we in what we do? What is our attention span in something we do? Can we stay only doing that? Simple things like, let's say you go to a place of worship, temple. You're standing in front of the Lord. How focused are you? How many minutes are you focused? Maybe in the queue you're there. It may take 5 minutes from the end to the other side. There in front of the Lord, how focused are you? Where is your mind? I wore a new footwear. I left it outside. Oh Lord, keep it safe till I go back. Focus. Mind on the footwear, body in front of the Lord. No, you went there. You want to pray sincerely. Start. Within seconds, the mind is focused out somewhere else. Or someone standing in front of you wears some nice jewelry. Or new design. Where did you get it? How would I scheme to get this now? What should I do? Focus. What is the span of focus we have? Without this ability to stay focused, how can we ever meditate? You sit for meditation, what happens? Except meditation, everything happens. Except silencing of the mind. Except that, every other thing happens. Brilliant projects we think. Next I should do this. Next I should do that. Hey, you're meditating now. Difficult, isn't it? That's why Krishna says, in every small action, try and stay focused. If we can learn to do that, that is yoga. Absolutely, just doing that without deviating the mind. In small activities. Easiest way would be list down 10 activities. And those 10 activities every day, do it with complete focus. Slowly it can be extended to other things. Such people live life fully. That is yoga, staying in yoga. Yoga karma sukhaushalam, dexterity in action. When you do an action, when you perform anything, your mind is completely involved in it. Living that way would be wonderful because what comes out of you would be the best. If we can manage to do that, to stay focused in the activities, what we do, bring the mind there, then we become a fit equipment in the hands of the Lord. Fit equipment in the hands of the divine for the cosmic to express. There can't be anything much better than that if this much we do.
Worth achieving. End of the day, when one has to drop oneself out, what have you achieved? I think I was an instrument in his hands. Achieved. Think. Is that not being an equipment in his hands? Nimitra matram bhava savya sachin. Hey Arjuna, be an instrument in my hand. Krishna tells him, you don't have to worry, you just follow this, you will be an instrument in my hand. What else an individual needs? To be in tune with the cosmic, and the divine expresses through you. Life is fulfilled.
It's a benediction which one has done to oneself. If we can live this way, we would become a fit equipment in his hand. Otherwise we will not. Otherwise what happens? My own anxiety comes. I cannot become a fit instrument in his hand. I may desire to be a fit instrument in the hands of the Lord, but I am not yet ready. The anxiety keeps coming and the mind is in agitation, we come to it. If this is practiced, completely focused in small actions, we become fit. Then his plan functions through us. That's worth achieving. Fulfilled, rather. Having come here, one has fulfilled oneself. People write, things to do. You open your organizer, you open your computer, things to do. Your phone, things to do. In that, keep this on top priority. Let me become an instrument in his hand. Things to do what? That's worth achieving, being an instrument in his hand. Has anyone ever put that? Things to do. I have to go meet this man, I have to do this one, I have to send a card, I have to do this, all that. I have to be a devotee. Things to do. Things to do, this doesn't even occur. Life goes that way. Things to do, let me be an instrument in his hands. Let us do that. You have fulfilled your existence, justified the purpose of coming here. If one can do it. End of the day, there will be a great satisfaction. I somehow managed. And now his will functions through me, fit equipment. Those people who have become that kind of an equipment, imagine the amount of work and the blessing they have done to the world. I'll tell you how they work. Swami Mitrananda, for example. He works 18 hours a day, minimum. 18, 20. His day starts around 3:30. Afternoon probably takes 1 hour off. 2 lectures minimum, morning and evening, 1.5 hours, 1 hour. 2-3 meetings every day. Average 60 or 70 mails every day. 250 centers around the world. How many board meetings he must be having? 80 schools in India. One man. See the instrument in the hands of the Lord. How much gets done? Fit equipment, absolutely focused on what he does. Mind, no agitation, no anxiety. See the work which has happened. He was to go to Jakarta. He was in Singapore at that time. And for some reason, the government of Jakarta, the government of Indonesia, denied permission for his talks. He could visit Indonesia but denied permission for his talks. So the devotees here took him to Bali, part of Indonesia. Hindu country, Hindu island, 92% Hindus there. They took him there. He made a statement. He said, in the last 35 years, this is my first holiday. This is truth. Satya. No exaggeration in it. In the last 35 years, this is my first holiday. Can you work 6 days at a stretch, 7th day without a holiday? See the amount of service those fit equipments do to the world. The benediction of the world. How many lives were transformed? And he says, 35 years, that's a fact. We have his itinerary, you can check. Not a day off. First holiday after 35 years of this kind of a schedule, 18 to 20 hours a day. That's the fit equipment. These are the people who have become instrument in his hands. So he expresses through. You and I can become that instrument. All we need to do is do these things that way. Why? It's going to change. Don't worry. Don't encourage anxiety. Small things do completely. I remember him teaching. One of the hosts with whom he was staying, Swami Chinmaya, the lady of the house came, gave him a cup of tea. 2 drops of tea was on the saucer. 2 drops spilled on the saucer. He looks at her and says, you think I'm in a railway station? It's accepted in the railway station. You rush, tea spilling is accepted. I'm at your house, living with you here, and you're giving me a cup of tea, 2 drops spilled on the plate. What was he trying to teach her? He said, I won't take this tea. What was he trying to teach her? Even in an action like that, let the mind be there when you do it. Yoga karma kaushalam. That action when you do, let the mind be there. Just, in an incident like this, where was your mind? Imagine the learning. After that, you bring that to every small thing we do in life. Bring it. For such people, excellence becomes a habit. Isn't it? Think. What more do you want if you make excellence your habit? Every time you go out, it is excellence which comes out of you. Fit equipment. If we can do this without anxiety and completely focused in the work, we become a fit equipment. And once we become a fit equipment, nothing else is required. Life is fulfilled. Let the Lord do through you what He wants, and He will achieve. Because the full potential is available. Shankara, fit equipment in the hands of the Lord. Lived only 32 years. First 8 years with his mother. Next 8 years with his guru. At the age of 16, the teenager takes up a mission on himself. I'm talking about Adi Shankara. Let me go and transform the whole nation. How many 16-year-old can ever think that way? Let me go and transform the whole nation. Why? He was conscious of his potential. He was conscious of the skill. Fit equipment, it will happen. Another 16 years he worked, transformed the country, dropped when he was 32. The same thing we can do. It is so relevant. If only we manage this much, life changes completely. First 20 years of Vivekananda's life, hardly anything. After meeting Ramakrishna, slowly transformation. Becoming a finer equipment in the hands of the Lord. Became a fit equipment. 39 he dropped. 14, 15 years. What brilliant work. Even today people are inspired, isn't it? Even today lives are getting transformed. The words are inspiring even today. What an equipment he must have been in the hands of the Lord. We can go on with examples. But that potential we have, if we follow this much, that can happen to all of us. We can be a fit equipment. How do we do this? By understanding Gita, the most relevant book on the earth. Applying it, lives are transformed. That's why, imagine Krishna coming out and telling Arjuna, knowing this, you don't have to know anything else. You understand the depth of that statement. If you know this, you don't have to know anything else. And to all of you present here, from the Lord's standpoint, among the devotees, the most dearest one is the one who is part of spreading this message. He says that in the 18th chapter. Of all the dear ones, the most dearest to me is the one who is part of moving, spreading this message, this knowledge. It's not giving lectures alone. It's part of that program by which we carry this message forward. In any form you can contribute for that program, you are part of that larger awakening program. Those who are working for awakening, people from ignorance to knowledge, Krishna says they are very dear to me. That way, this book is extremely relevant. You take management, it is very relevant. What we discussed, you can bring it into your personal life, you can bring this as management skills. Making a person complete. Giving a direction where one can live without worry. It's much more relevant than what we have discussed. I'll stop here now to invite questions. Thank you very much.